Good evening, and welcome to Storytime with Blimp. Tonight, scripted on the dais tonight for discussion is the Tuttle Bottoms Monster of Harrisburg, Illinois. First reports of the Tuttle Bottoms Monster took place in 1960. Approximately 50 reports over 28 years of an unidentified beast in the area northwest of Harrisburg, Illinois. Some reporting a creature with 2 legs and some with 4. First report come from the Harrisburg Daily Register, August 6th of 1963. Tonight's monster strikes near and dear to me because Tuttle Bottoms is only 15 miles from my home. Very weird looking cryptid. Some that will report it. And let's get down to the story. The Tuttle Bottoms Monster is a legendary creature said to inhabit a swampy area north of Harrisburg, Illinois on the Saline River watershed. Usually described as ape-like and hairy with a long snout similar to that of an anteater. Reports go back, starting with the first one in 1963 in the Harrisburg Daily Register. The Tuttle Bottoms Monster legend is familiar to generations of Saline County residents. Former Harrisburg Police Chief Gary Crabtree told the Harrisburg, Illinois Daily Register that his department received approximately 50 reports over 28 years of an unidentified beast in the area northwest of Harrisburg. Some reporting a creature with 2 legs and some 4, most describing it as having a long, almost anteater-like snout. On August 6th, 1963, the Harrisburg Daily Register seemed to be the first report of the creature. And I quote, Saline County Sheriff James L. Thompson spent a busy night last night, starting about 11 p.m. and ending at 4:30 a.m. The sheriff said he ran across a youth at Tuttle Bottoms around 11 p.m. The young man was armed with a rifle and told Thompson that there was a monster loose in the bottoms. He said it was 8 feet long, 4 feet high, and had a nose like an anteater. The young man put his rifle in his car and left, and later Thompson ran across about a dozen boys, armed with shotguns and other weapons, and all looking for the monster in the bottoms. The sheriff soon dispersed the boys and sent them home. Independent animal researcher Virgil Smith told the Register that he believes the creature is not a monster out of a myth, but an actual animal released by federal government that had long since died. Smith said the creature was a hairy primate, stood on 2 legs, and was not scared of humans. Adding that one couple, couple reported the animal walked right up to them. Smith also claims that a former employee of the U.S. Department of Agriculture confided to him that the department had launched a private investigation into the Tuttle Bottoms Monster. The earliest reports of the creature date to the 1960s by teenagers who used the area as a local makeout spot, by hunters who would make frantic calls to the police after seeing the creature. It was rumored that some murders took place in the bottoms during that time. The Tuttle Bottoms Monster is a very weird creature. Some actually report it to be, like I said, an anteater. Some say it's ape-like. Some say that it resembles an anteater. About 2 years ago, I was handed a report, and I read the report, and it was by a local author named Bruce Klein. Bruce Klein is retired state trooper, county patrol, and he's a war vet. He spent some time in Afghanistan and Iraq. The one article I'm going to read you was published 7 years ago by Bruce Klein, director of the Little Egypt Ghost Society. Southern Illinois has long been known for its reports of monsters and strange happenings. Tuttle Bottoms is known to have its fair share of strange creatures. The Tuttle Bottoms Monster was first reported in the 1960s in Tuttle Bottoms near Harrisburg, Illinois. On the northern outskirts of Harrisburg is a section of town referred to as Dorse Heights. The middle fork of the Saline River passes through the woods of this scenic area. Hunters and people who would park along the road in that area would make frantic calls to police and sheriff departments reporting a large furry animal that resembled an overgrown anteater. Others said the creature resembled a large bear, and some strange tracks were often found nearby. In the 1960s and 70s, many high school kids would go to Tuttle Bottoms to drink beer and make out. It was rumored that some murders took place in the Bottoms, too. Parents warned kids to stay away from that area. And this gets into Bruce Klein's account that he had with a creature in Tuttle Bottoms that was completely different than the reported ape-like anteater. I remember one hot summer night in the late 1960s when our sitter took me and my brother for a ride through Tuttle Bottoms. As we crossed the bridge over the middle fork of the Saline River, a large creature that resembled a prehistoric pterodactyl swooped down at the roof of the car, circled around, and followed us for a short distance. Our sitter floored the gas pedal in her old car, and we flew down that dark gravel road as fast as it could go. It was quite some time until I was brave enough to go back to Tuttle Bottoms. It goes further into this. Whenever I interviewed Bruce Klein a couple years ago, he told me that the creature kept pace with the car, and it had a very wide wingspread. He estimated between 10 to 20 feet long was the wingspread, and the thing followed them for quite a while. He said that it was a very persistent creature that he said it followed them for around 10 to maybe 5-10 miles through Tuttle Bottoms back out to the route that goes to Raleigh, Illinois. I'm pulling his report up right now, and I'll read it to you. I sent him a message, and I said, "Hello, sir. My name is Zach Sterick. I'm the leader of the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters team. I come across your article on the Tuttle Bottoms reports. I would very much like to interview you and discuss your sightings and your records on the Tuttle Bottoms Monster. Please get back to me when you have the time." He contacted me not too long after, and he says, "How did you hear about my encounter?" I said I read it on my research on the Tuttle Bottoms Monster. And he says, "Okay, it was in the 1960s. He says it was a one-time occurrence. Our babysitter took it for a drive north of Harrisburg. We were in the Tuttle Bottoms area when an extremely large pterodactyl-like creature attacked the car we were in." He says in his description, it looked like a prehistoric pterodactyl with big claws and about a 16-foot wingspan. It flew very fast and kept pace with the car. And the area was near Big Muddy River north of Harrisburg. He says it was a heavily wooded area near Muddy north of Harrisburg. And it chased us as our babysitter drove away on the main highway to get away from it. And I said, "What evidence have you found on the Tuttle Bottoms Monster that reported it to be Bigfoot-like?" He said, "Actually none. Like I said, it was a one-time occurrence almost 50 years ago." Getting back to the reports of the Tuttle Bottoms creature, very weird-looking creature. You've all have seen my reports of the creature, the pictures I uploaded earlier today, and some people say that it still inhabits the Tuttle Bottoms region. Some say that it could still inhabit the outer edges, because one was reported Not long before that, about a couple of decades later, in Massac County, Illinois, down by the Ohio River, um, down by Metropolis. Another report that says former Harrisburg chief Gary Crabtree said in 1999, prior to his retirement, the department had received as many as 50 reports of some kind of beast lurking in the northwest area of Harrisburg in his 20 years at the department. You've all heard this. Smith is hesitant to say much more without further evidence, but believes the creature was an actual animal released by the federal government, and as such, that another such creature was reported in Massac County. Smith goes on to say it stood on two legs, was hairy, close to swampy river areas, and a couple had the animal actually walk up to them. It was more a description of a primate. The animal was not scared of humans, nor showed any kind of hesitation to walk up to humans. Smith said that the U.S. Department of Agriculture, a former employee, confided to him that the department actually launched the investigation. The man also told him a story about the origin of the Massac County creature. Smith believes that the origin could be same as the fabled Tuttle Bottoms Monster, and that it is a legitimate creature, not a monster out of myth. And believes that the creature has long since died. He says, well, what I'm looking for is older people, farmers who either had a first-hand encounter or had first-hand reports. I'm not looking for headless horseman type reports. This creature, I've been to Tuttle Bottoms before, and it is a very eerie place, especially at night. We travel through there with work, sometimes going into Harrisburg. If anything wanted to stay hidden in that area, it's got plenty of ground, plenty of thick timber, plenty of food source. There's plenty of water, especially right there with the Saline River Fork that runs through Tuttle Bottoms. It has plenty of water, it has plenty of food. Like I said, if something wants to stay hidden in there, it can. And since those reports, there's been a lot of timber cut down, so the area is relatively rather small, but there is still swampland in that area. But let's see if anybody has any questions on my research on this creature. Go ahead and ask them. While I'm waiting for questions, I'm going to give a shout out to the listeners tonight: Mr. Brad Kell, Kyle Prince, Macy Johnson, Hunter Malone, Sheila J., Ray Furlow, Miss Randy Nearcorn, Daniel Benoit, Zach Holmes, Ben Parks, Derek Pritchett, Michael Smock, Mr. Baldemar Galvan Jr., Art Pina, Chris Lanham, Christina Lambert, Cody Morris, Jackie Crossan Peck, Tyler Robinson, and Rick Dyer. Thank you, everybody, for especially tuning in on tonight's broadcast. There's been so many reports of the creature that lived and stalked Tuttle Bottoms. Like I just read the report where it could have been a pterodactyl-style creature. And then you have the ones where they said it was a Bigfoot, and some said it resembled an ape mixed anteater with a long snout. There is so much that the people were seeing then, whether it was result of mass hysteria or like you played the rumor game in high school, where you someone would whisper a rumor and go and pass it along, and by the time it reached the front of the class, it was 10 times as worse than what it was when it started. But I can't say that people weren't seeing something. I wasn't there. I wasn't even thought of then. But there's still something to be said that people were seeing something in Tuttle Bottoms, north of Harrisburg, Illinois. Mr. Paul Costco and Joe Harbert just jumped on the line. Good evening, gentlemen. Hope you all are having a good night. But um, again, I thank everybody for tuning in tonight for this broadcast of Storytime with Blimp. I'll be continue to be bringing everybody more and more reports, starting with Illinois, and then I'm going to work my way around the United States. There's a report on the with the cryptid creature called the Skinwalker of the Navajo tribe. I will be touching on that at a later date. Pardon me. But until then, everybody, I thank you for tuning in. I know this wasn't a very long broadcast, but still, we had a good time, and hopefully, you all learned something about the history of Southern Illinois with this cryptid creature. This is Blimp signing off. Be sure to tune in to Backwoods Investigations on YouTube with the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters Team YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. I'm usually uploading new content every couple weeks, every week, or every 2 weeks. Be sure to give us a subscribe. Be sure to share us with your friends. Click the like button, share a comment with the channel. Be sure to check us out on Squat Zone, the formerly known ECBR 098 YouTube channel by Daniel Benoit, where we'll be having podcasts. Be sure to check us out on Squat Zone Radio whenever the next episode airs. Our roundtable discussion should be coming up here pretty soon, so be sure to stay tuned in for that. Also, I'm going to give a little throw out there. Be sure to go and check out Shaky Sports Talk. It should be booting back up here pretty soon. A lot of good stuff supposed to be happening with Shaky Sports Talk. Be sure to check out the first annual ECBRO Virginia State Bigfoot Conference, June 30th and July 1st. I will be speaking at that along with Mr. Baltimore Gavon Jr., Ron Moorhead, Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, Mike Feltner, Big Rain KB from Paranormal Talk Radio will be there. Be sure to check us out and get your tickets. Tickets are $20 a pop. And be sure to come on out. It should be a good turnout. But until then, especially tonight, I want to give a special shout out to the Crab Orchard basketball team that played Thompsonville Tigers tonight. Even though we lost by 7 points, we still had one heck of a show tonight, and it was a one highlight reel game where if you blinked, you missed something. I give a special shout out to all of you boys. You guys make me proud, and I'm proud to be a spectator and to watch you guys bring me to my feet every single game. But until then, this is Blimp signing off, saying keep a wary eye out, keep your ears to the wind, and your nose to the ground. Be sure to check out whenever I go live. Be sure to click the subscribe button for whenever I go live to get your notifications so you can stay up to date with me. Y'all just have a good night and stay squatchy, and God bless. See you next time.